What is the significance of such kind of meeting for all Africans?
All Africans should take this opportunity to understand Kwame Nkrumah's contribution to the world, but specifically to African people. And what I would like to encourage all of your viewers to do is to at least to try to go and pick up a book called Africa Must Unite, another book, The Handbook of Revolutionary Warfare and Class Struggle in Africa. Kwame Nkrumah lived for African people, and I think it's about time that we understand why the imperialists were so against Kwame Nkrumah. He was a great man. He graduated from the campus that I teach at, and I've studied him. My research is on him, and I think more people need to know about Kwame Nkrumah. In fact, I think we need more Kwame Nkrumahs instead of just waiting on the one that we had, because I don't know if he's coming back again like many of us believe Jesus is. But we don't have to wait. If we read those texts, apply ourselves in education, we in fact can do what Nkrumah's plans were, which weren't just his plans. They were the plans of Marcus Garvey. They were the plans of George Padmore. They were the plans of many others who wanted to see Africa united so that it could be powerful and not have to be subject to China, the United States, or to any other superpower, because Africa itself could be a superpower when it deals with those other powers.
Today we are at the final day of the All African People's 60th anniversary.
Yes.
There have been a lot of discussion.
Yes.
What can you point out few points that were discussed and people could agree on?
Let me make the first most major point. If you read our flyers that discuss this conference, it has people spelt with an apostrophe after the S, as if there are many different African people and we're discussing their plight. But in fact, the way that Nkrumah had written this, he wrote the word people singular, and then he put an apostrophe and S, because this is something that belongs to African people, and the future belongs to African people. We just have to organize so that we connect our theories to our actions. Victory. The question of institutions began the conversation, and we pointed especially to universities. What was meant by epistemology? We started with a working definition that resulted in the following. Our answers included how we know what we know. We also said epistemology is a set of methods of how we know, discover, and theorize. This is necessary for the validation of knowledge and the qualification of knowledge produced. Then we looked at legacy, and it was mentioned that when Nkrumah became the head of state of Ghana and made it a state that was committed to Pan-African liberation, he launched this institute that we're in to generate an intellectual revolution to accompany a social revolution. Some of the historic figures, political liberators, cultural artists, philosophers, genets and griots, and ultimately the masses of African persons that live and produce life are the transmitters of knowledge. Modern universities are built on the Western model. Our group said modern universities are built on the Western model, which is different than earlier models used in Africa. Many Islamic universities coexist with the Western model. In African universities, multidisciplinary and transdisciplinary fields have been created. Many examples were given to clarify this point. It was also acknowledged that institutions that transmit knowledge, such as universities, are instruments of power and locations of political struggles. A discussion of the relationship between truth and knowledge was discussed, exposing the fact that not all knowledge products are truthful. We have too often been miseducated by the imperialists to reduce our self-knowledge and self-empowerment. The study of history must be designed from the perspective and interest of African people. The current African intelligentsia was criticized by our group for too often looking down on traditional ways of accessing knowledge. The colonists are particularly guilty for transmitting false information to denigrate the colonized. The youth at this conference are looking for solutions and recommended some curricular issues, which included strategies to move forward by using tools like WhatsApp and Facebook. The point was made that knowledge production is ideological as well as methodological. Okay, so let's come down. The recommendations we made were thus. 1. We should be able to access the knowledge and self-knowledge that has been hidden from us. 2. We should teach accurate and self-enhancing knowledge at the earliest grade levels possible using historians and persons with communication specialist skills. 3. We should create independent learning institutions that are Pan-African. 4. Academic scholarship should be joined with civic activism. 5. We should identify the fears of policymakers so that we can influence them with these recommendations. 6. We should develop an African language that can be used across the African continent and across the African world.
Amen.
And that should include instruments such as dance to communicate. 7. We should return to our institutions and struggle to include Pan-Africanist scholars and activists in our academic programs. 8. We need to create curricula that enhances our collective Pan-African personality. 9. Pan-African knowledge productions should include multimedia productions. And the last one, 10. We recommended that we meet as an All-African Peoples Conference in a period shorter than 60 years, and the recommendation was maybe in 2 years.
Okay, the rapporteur is submitting himself to...
Victory is certain.
So we are going, everybody's going to each of them's country.
Yes.
What is your message? What can you tell them? What can you say to those who are not here today?
To those who are not here today, they must again pick up on Nkrumah's idea. This conference was an idea that was started by Kwame Nkrumah in 1958. Let's do it ourselves again. We have to continue the Pan-African Revolution. Only when the Pan-African Revolution is successful will we be able to have a better life standard. And that's the message, I think, that was sent here. Today we came to collaborate and tried to figure out how to put these ideas into concrete action. And so I would like to encourage your viewers to, again, go pick up the text, Africa Must Unite. It has ideas on how we can be stronger in the world and how our lives can be improved in every local area.
Thank you very much, Professor. And it was a pleasure to meet you.
Thank you very much, and it's definitely an honor to be on this show.